Chapter 389 to 391. Training Field R3, 5:29 and 58 seconds AM. Splash. Watatsumi nodded in appreciation as the water balloon in his hand burst. It hasn't even been a few hours since he started with the first step of the Rasengan practice and it has already been perfectly completed. Now on to the next step, Watatsumi thought and took out a rubber ball from a storage scroll. Huh. But before he could start with the next step, suddenly he felt a fragrant odor. Then suddenly vines started to sprout out of the ground from behind him and entangled around his left calf, then the right calf, then the wrist, and then the other wrist, and finally around his neck. Akame's genjutsu, huh? Watatsumi thought with a calm expression. He doesn't plan on using the Tenseigan as such genjutsu did affect him, albeit only slightly. And since this is a test, he has to give them enough opportunity to be able to show their capabilities, otherwise this will all be pointless. The sight of the beautiful cherry blossom trees, the sound of the wisp of wind, the sense of touch and pain from these vines trapping me, the fragrance of the falling sakura petals, and the sense of balance because of my movements being restricted. Her genjutsu proficiency has improved drastically from the last time. It is affecting all 5 senses as well as the sense of balance. This was Watatsumi's thought. Let's end this, Captain. Akame suddenly appeared on the tree binding Watatsumi and lunged her kunai at him. I can't deny that you have improved greatly since our last battle, but if you think that this alone would be enough, then you are sorely mistaken. It wouldn't be this easy. Watatsumi said and disrupted his chakra flow, Kai. Instantly the genjutsu tree binding him disappeared and the scenery changed, but instead of returning back to the forest, Watatsumi found himself falling through the clouds. Huh? A 2-layered genjutsu. And I have to admire their skills for giving me the feeling as if I am really falling from such a height. Kai. Watatsumi again disrupted his chakra, but again, instead of returning back to the forest, he found himself somewhere else. This time it was a closed room filled with thousands of Chinese red-headed centipede, and Watatsumi was at the center of the room, his arms and legs bound on a metal chair with metal bearings, and those thousands of red-headed centipede crawling all over him, some going inside his mouth, inside his nose, inside his both ears, pinching his eyes, legs, stomach. Overall it was way too disgusting and painful for Watatsumi to keep ignoring it, as these centipedes had even entered inside his body and were crawling and biting him all over. Kai. Again, instead of returning back to the forest, Watatsumi found himself in an acid hot spring, where something, probably a hand, was constantly pulling him inside, to drown him in the acid lake which was also burning his body. Kai. Tied on a large stake, bare feet with salted water pouring over it, then a few goats appear and started licking his feet. Kai. And again, being eaten by chimera ants. Kai. Again, his body turning something akin to a monster. Kai. Again, bound in shackling stakes. Kai. Again, crows turning into shuriken and impaling him. Kai. Body turning into paper. Kai. Drowning in the depths of the ocean and unable to breathe. Kai. Nothing except for darkness. Kai. Nothing except for whiteness. Kai. Burning to death with black flames of hell. Kai. Freezing eternally. Kai. In a small room with no exit and all the 6 walls converging inside. Kai. Witnessing Yui's death. Damn it to all to hell. PV change. Did it take effect? Rabbit asked to no one, but he did hear a voice in his ear. The multilayered cyclic genjutsu that both I and Akame worked together to cast on Captain wouldn't be able to hold him for very long. He has already broken free of over 77 genjutsu. He is affected somewhat, but it's not to such an extent. We don't have enough chakra to keep up with his pace of freeing himself. Hurry up, we don't have much time. This is the best opportunity for us to steal that scroll from Captain. Got it. X2, both Rabbit and Hana nodded, and from 2 sides rushed at Watatsumi, but what's strange is that only Hana's figure was visible, Rabbit's figure was invisible. Cough, spurt. Akame coughed out blood. Be careful, he has freed himself from all the genjutsu. Hana said, don't worry, from the looks of it, it did have some mental trauma on him. It should take him a moment to regain his sense of balance. At that moment I will fight him. Weasel, mess with his vision, make it difficult for him to find the real rabbit. Akame ordered Weasel. On it. Weasel nodded and the crow sitting on the tree branch started to work. On one hand, Hana had already reached close to Watatsumi and jumped into the air. She then swung her sword in a circular motion, leaving a trace of afterimages behind. Then she rushed at Watatsumi to deliver a blow. Abarozukyo. Hazy Moon Night. On the other hand, there were also several invisible rabbits closing in on Watatsumi. Mizukuzi no Mai, Dance of the Crescent Moon. PV change. Huff 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 huff. I have to say that was way beyond what I had initially expected, and I am seriously impressed, but it's all pointless. Watatsumi spoke in a cold tone. Hakusho Kaiten. 8 trigrams palms revolving heaven. Instantly a protective shield of spinning chakra appeared around Watatsumi which repelled both Hana and the invisible rabbit, as well as destroyed the 2 invisible Kagebushin of rabbit. Poof. Poof. Plop. Plop. The moment spinning chakra around Watatsumi disappeared, Weasel made his next move. Katan Gokakyu no Yatsu. Fire release, fireball technique. Instantly a large fireball rushed towards Watatsumi. Akame and Rabbit also used that opportunity to cut off his escape route. Whyish 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 whyish. Watatsumi noticed the fireball and he also noticed the several shurikens coming towards him. Instead of resisting them, he flickered from his position at a speed faster than that of shuriken and kunai and appeared on the other side. Tuck 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 tuck. Whyish 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 whyish. Instantly more shuriken kept coming at him. Watatsumi also took out a few shurikens from his sleeves and started a shuriken jutsu battle with Weasel. Akame and Hana also rushed at him with a kunai and sword in their hands in order to overwhelm him with their numbers. Ding. Ding 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 ding. A battle of shuriken jutsu, kentatsu, and taijutsu started. Whyish 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 whyish. With Watatsumi now in a fight against Akame and Hana, Weasel made his next move. 8 shurikens were thrown by Weasel that after a series of precisely guided collisions, one shuriken managed to cut the strap of Watatsumi's shinobi bag. Cut. Plop. Slash. Smash. The next moment, Hana's swords that had been cut into several pieces fell on the ground, and the next moment, Akame, who had been kicked in the gut by Suijin, flew out and collided with the tree. Rabbit said while taking out the scroll from inside of Watatsumi's shinobi bag, "Alright, Captain Cough *, here's the scroll, I have it in my hand." At some point during the battle he had managed to sneak up near Watatsumi by using his invisibility, and Weasel's genjutsu on him to his advantage. I guess you did manage to take my shinobi bag, but are you sure that the scroll you hold is the right one? Watatsumi questioned with a smirk. Weasel, Akame, and Hana instantly realized it. No, that's a trap. Poof. But it was already too late as Watatsumi weaved the hand signs and instantly white smoke covered Rabbit's figure. When the smoke cleared, it revealed Rabbit's body tightly bound by a snake. The very next moment, a scroll fell down from the sky and was caught by Watatsumi with his left hand. Holding the scroll in his hand, Watatsumi said, "Well then, what now? Still want to continue, or would you like to retreat and make another attempt?" Damn it, the gap between us has not only decreased but has increased several times over the years. Akame cursed inwardly, but she still issued the order, "Retreat." With her order, the 4 instantly retreated and Watatsumi started to walk away from this place. I wonder how long will it take for them to realize the real meaning of this test, or will they even realize it? I guess I am going to play around with them for some time. Let's see what they are going to do in their next attempt, it's fun. Fast forward to several attempts later, which included several battles, poisoning his food, use of disguise to sneak up on him while he was walking through the village, even the use of seduction to make him lose his guard much to their own embarrassment, and various other attempts they could use which all proved to be fruitless. We are now at this scene. Huff 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 huff. Just what are you? Rabbit said while lying on the ground drenched in sweat. Similar was the case with the other 3. Monster, he is nothing short of a monster. Whistle. Well, the 4 of you failed to steal the scroll from me, so as per the Watatsumi said. Wait, Captain, there are still a few minutes left. Hana hurriedly interrupted him. Yes, moreover, every time we do manage to take the scroll from you, it is either rigged with some kind of trap, just complete blank, or has nothing relevant in it, while the original scroll is pulled out by you from out of nowhere each time. I have started to feel that you have been cheating this whole time. You have a lot of those scrolls and each of them is just a trap, even the original one is just a trap, there is no original one. When one scroll comes in our hand, you bring out another scroll and make it the original one, Akame said. Weasel was silent, even he started to feel the same thing. Pointed out by Akame, Watatsumi turned his face to the side. Humph, I don't know what you are talking about, clearly you have failed the test, and now you are just making up excuses for your failure. What to do now? Hana questioned Akame. Akame is the most experienced of the 4 and thus she has been leading them all this time, but nothing seems to be working. Should we give up? Was her thought, but then she remembered her reasons. I can't give up. And stood up. I am not going to give up. Seeing Akame's determination, other than Weasel, both Hana and Rabbit also stood up. Anyway, we still have a few minutes left before the end of time limit, we might as well give it a last try. Watatsumi raised his eyebrow and thought, failed, except for Itachi, the other 3 failed to see what the true test was. Disappointed, Watatsumi questioned in a heavy tone, is that so? Do you really plan to not give up? No. Was all he heard. Is that so? With a mutter, Watatsumi said, in that case, come at me. And then instantly released a very heavy chakra pressure. Boom boom. Crack 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 crack. Walla 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 walla. The chakra pressure was so heavy that it cracked the ground and caused strong winds, even particles and pieces of stones started to hover in the air for a moment. But be prepared, this time I won't go easy anymore. And next extreme bloodlust oozed out of Watatsumi. Bearing the direct burnt of this chakra pressure along with bloodlust, the 4 members of Team Ro couldn't even bring up enough courage to move a single step. What's wrong? Don't you want to continue? Watatsumi questioned in a disdainful tone. I did not even have enough strength to make out a response. Their hair was tingling and sixth sense screaming them to run away. What will it be? Watatsumi questioned again. At this moment, Weasel took the initiative to speak. Captain, I give up. I am not yet skilled enough to be able to complete this mission. And what about the three of you? Are you coming at me or should I be the one to take the initiative this time? Watatsumi questioned the three again. I give up. Akame worded out ever so slowly. I do too. Hana said with her head down. As do I. I give up. Rabbit also accepted. With their acceptance of defeat and accepting that neither of them is capable of completing the task, Watatsumi nodded and the chakra pressure disappeared as did the bloodlust. With the chakra pressure disappeared and bloodlust is gone, their legs gave away and all three instantly collapsed on the ground, covered in sweat and ragged with breaths. Watatsumi waited for three to recover their breaths, then said, so the three of you failed. Three of them had their head down in disappointment, their thoughts so jumbled up that it took them a few seconds to realize that Watatsumi only said, 3. Wait, 3? What do you mean, Captain? Did someone pass? Hana asked in confusion. As I said, the three of you failed. Weasel passed the test. Watatsumi repeated. What do you mean? Why did he pass? He too failed to steal the scroll. Akame questioned. Watatsumi said, according to the task I gave you the four of you had to steal the scroll from me within the 24 hours time limit which neither of you managed to complete, but you three are forgetting something, that is something which I told you on the first day. Learn to give up. When you realize that you are not capable of completing the mission even when you have tried everything you can, you have to give up, but neither of you did in the fear that you will be kicked out of the Umbu department. It is true that Weasel did not steal the scroll, but he chose to give up the first and accepted his defeat, while neither of you did and insisted on continuing. Normally this is something to be looked down upon and heavily frowned upon, but do remember that we aren't living in normal times. Here if you don't know when to give up, then you will never get the second chance. A shinobi is taught to never give up his mission even if it means death, but I am teaching you, learn to give up when necessary. If you have exhausted all your means and the result is still the same and won't be changing with anything that you do, then give up. I know what I am teaching the four of you is not correct for a shinobi and not something we Konoha shinobi have been indoctrinated to follow from our academy days, but this is extremely necessary for us to stay alive given the current situation. Of course, you all could go ahead and sacrifice yourselves for the greater good of the village, but that sacrifice should at least mean something to the village, to those around you, and to yourselves. Else what is the point of dying a meaningless death? While alive we can accomplish much more than if we die midway in doing something that is not worth it and we simply aren't capable of doing. Now this does not mean that one should always give up. There are times when one can't back down, but not giving up just so you don't get kicked out of the Umbu department, that's something unacceptable. The four of them were silent upon hearing Watatsumi's words and thought, did Captain really say something like on the first day? Why can't I remember? Watatsumi sighed after lecturing them, then he took out 4 scrolls from his shinobi bag and passed each one of them to the 4 members. The 4 were confused. This is... Watatsumi said, these scrolls record some basic details of the mission that is assigned to Team Rho. Of course, it does not state what exactly is the mission, but it does record the location we will be performing the mission at. As for the further details, I will reveal them on our way to the location. Wait, cough asterisk, haven't we failed the test? Rabbit asked with a frown. Watatsumi said, yes, the 3 of you failed the test, no doubt about that, but my objective was just to make the 4 of you understand my point more deeply, and I have made that point clear. As for the matter of kicking out of the Umbu, that was just a rational deception to draw out your upper limits. Huh? Akame, Hana, and Rabbit muttered in a daze while Weasel chuckled a little. Don't be in a daze, make sure to prepare everything thoroughly and meet me here at 11 p.m. tonight, here we will depart for the mission. Watatsumi said. Hana tried to say something, Captain. But Watatsumi interrupted him, now scramble before I change my mind. Ordered by Watatsumi, the 4 looked at each other helplessly then flickered away. Each of them had the same thought, this guy is a total bastard. Watatsumi smiled, then he also started to walk towards his home. On the way a crow landed on his shoulder. Kuroto-san, was that all right? Kuroto said, yes, I just wanted to give birth to a thought in their minds. When I order them to retreat by saying that they are not yet ready for something, then they retreat without any questions asked, else Amatsukumi's movements will be hindered. All right. The crow nodded and then flew away. In the office of the Hokage. It has been verified someone is actually preparing a coup d'état in Kirigakure, and this someone is Momochi Zabuza, the demon of Kirigakure, Sandaime remarked, handing Kuroto a paper containing intelligence. Kuroto couldn't help but laugh internally as he heard Sandaime's comments and read the intelligence imparted to him. Konoha has already confirmed the forthcoming coup d'état in Kirigakure and the mastermind behind it. In such a situation, if the coup were to succeed, it would be remarkable and nothing short of a miracle. Momochi Zabuza has obtained the great sword Samahata? Kuroto grimaced as he continued to study the contents. This is a bit of a shock. But I suppose it isn't. Kubikurabocho is in the hands of Biwa Juzo, who is still alive, and Suikazan Fuguki is dead, so Zabuza may have gotten his hands on Samahata in some way. But what about Hoshigaki Kisame if Momochi Zabuza has Samahata? The preparation time granted to Team Ro is already complete, any additional time cannot be given, thus Team Ro must race to the land of water, Sandame explained as Kuroto pondered a few things. I'd like to learn more about Kirigakure's circumstances as well as the current Mizukage's position. Take advantage of the coup d'état and assassinate the Yandame Mizukage Karatachi Yagura if it is determined that anything is amiss with him as the rumors imply and if he is the one cooperating with Akatsuki. Understood Hokage-sama, it must be done, Kuroto said with a nod. Team Ro will be acting alone, and given that Kirigakure is in some sort of alliance with Akatsuki, an encounter with members of Akatsuki or Amatsukami is possible, Sandame said after a moment's thought. Should it become necessary, you can contact Marino Ibiki and the team under him and act accordingly as per the situation. And then he passed another scroll with Marino Ibiki's contact information on it. Kuroto accepted the scroll with a nod. All right, now that everything is figured up, set off, Sandame remarked. Kuroto walked out of the Hokage office with a nod. I wonder what move Amatsukami should make in this, Kuroto mused on his walk to the training field, R3. Should I, like Pakura, utilize Momochi Zabuza as a puppet Kage? Or should I hire Terumi Mei for this job? Or is there a third possibility? Kirigakure is likewise a good country to take control over, therefore Kuroto's feelings towards the country are similar to Madara's and Obito's. The land of water is the smallest of the 5 major nations, consisting of several islands with varying habitats and customs. Because of its isolated location from the rest of the continent, this country tends to stay out of most political matters. Furthermore, the land of water is bordered on all sides by the sea, which has engulfed the land in a dense blanket of mist. The land of water's natural atmosphere also benefits Kirigakure shinobi in the usage of Sutan-based jutsu as well as specific Kirigakure assassination jutsu. As a result, taking on the Kiri shinobi at home is a challenging task. The duel between Momochi Zabuza and Hatake Kakashi in the Land of Waves arc exemplifies this. Kakashi was an elite Jonin-class shinobi with the alias copy ninja Kakashi at the time in the Naruto narrative, and few people could match his strength. However, when he faced Zabuza of the misty environment, Kakashi fell into a pensive state and nearly perished. Because of their increased combat effectiveness owing to home advantage, Kiri shinobis who have learned Suiton extensively and specialize in silent killing are especially tough to deal with in the misty environment. Kuroto, in fact, understands this better than others. After all, when battling near a water source, his Suijin clone becomes considerably more effective and powerful. As a result, Kuroto intends to make the next Mizukage a puppet who will be loyal to Amatsukami, as this will provide him with numerous benefits. That said, this task may need numerous large fights, and since I am currently unable to employ the full strength of my own body due to a variety of factors, it would be preferable to use Tsukihai clone. The Tsukihai clone is only second to the original body in terms of strength, and the Eternal Manjikyu Sharingan will offer me an unrivaled advantage in fight against the Mizukage, who is a Jinchuriki. Fighting is also the best way to enhance soul-body adaptation, so that's one thing, plus I'd like to put Enten, Ashihomi to the test against Suiton. As he approached the gathering area, Kuroto gave a final nod. You're late, Captain. Akame exclaimed. And he was, of course, late. The reason for this is that Sandame summoned him immediately before the departure. Don't worry, I'm not that late, Watatsumi replied nonchalantly, it's just 15 minutes past the set hour, Sandame-sama summoned me for some last-minute briefing. Oh? All right. Akame acknowledged with a nod. Have you all been thoroughly prepared for this mission? Watatsumi inquired of his 4 teammates. Yes, exclaimed the 4 in unison. All right, now that the dust has settled, the Team Ro will embark on its first assignment. Watatsumi expressed his thoughts. Yes, Captain, said the squad. Watatsumi's lead was followed by Akame, Rabbit, Hana, and Weasel, who all nodded. The Team Ro then took a hidden passage out of the village and set off in the direction of the Land of Water. The Team Ro then took a hidden passage out of the village and set off in the direction of the Land of Water. In a gloomy environment where there is little or no light. Where am I? Someone muttered in confusion. What place is this? How did I get here? I wonder how long has it been since I have been here? I can't remember. Where was I before I got here? I can't remember anything, and just who exactly am I? Perhaps I should try to find a way to get out of here, and maybe then I will get answers to my questions. But how should I get out of here? This place doesn't seem to give me any sense of space or direction. Everywhere I look there is only pitch-black darkness. I cannot even feel any sense of balance. What is up? What is down? What is left? What is right? What is forward and what is backward? Do these concepts even exist here? Neither is there any sense of time. It feels as if I have been here for eons. At the same time, it also feels that I was here just an instant ago. Yawn. I am feeling tired and sleepy. I should probably sleep. Maybe I will remember something after I wake up. The person fell asleep with these thoughts in mind and didn't notice the change. The pitch-black blackness transformed into pitch-purple/violet darkness when the person fell asleep, with a few traces of light and quiet echoes traveling through, similar to what one would hear inside a deep sea. Perhaps if this person hadn't fallen asleep too early, she might have noticed the changes around her as well as the 2 pairs of golden eyes that appeared, or perhaps she wouldn't have noticed at all. After all, these alterations might not have happened if she hadn't fallen asleep, and the 2 pairs of golden eyes might not have appeared if this person hadn't fallen asleep. It won't be long, Toyotama-sama. The 2 pairs of eyes close, and just a light murmur can be heard. It won't be long, Toyotama-sama.